25 countries where Muslim population will increase the most in the next few decades. Please let us know in the comment section if there was any country you heard for the first time. Let's get started. Number 25, China. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 35.3 million, estimated increase in population around 7.3 million, an increase of 26%. Muslims are a minority in China and make up only between 1.5% of the overall population. A majority of them are based around the Xinjiang province and belong to the Uyghur and Hui ethnic groups. On 24, we have Kenya. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 12.9 million. Estimated increase 7.4 million, increase of 132%. 85% of Kenya's population is Christian. Islam is the second largest religion in the African country, with Muslims making up 10% of the overall population. The Muslim community's numbers are expected to grow rapidly over the next 3 decades, and by 2050, they will comprise 13.3% of Kenya's population. 23. Uganda. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 13.4 million. Estimated increase 7.8 million, increase of 141%. Uganda is an overwhelmingly Christian majority country with a sizable Muslim minority, most of whom are based in the eastern and northern parts of the country. In 2050, 14% of Uganda's population will be Muslim, compared to 12% in 2020. Number 22, Syria. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 31.2 million. Estimated increase 8.6 million, an increase of 38%. 93% of Syria's population comprises Muslims. About 3/4 of them belong to the Sunni sect of Islam, followed by Shia Muslims at 13% and Alawites at 11%. It is among the countries where Muslim population will increase the most by 2050. 21. Guinea. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 19.6 million. Estimated increase in population 8.8 million, increase of 81%. Guinea is a Muslim majority country in West Africa with a high birth rate of 4.5 births per woman. The populations of all groups living in the country are projected to grow at similar rates between now and 2050. The religious demographics will remain just how they were in 2020, with 85% Muslims and 10% Christians. 20. Turkey. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 89.32 million. Estimated increase in population 10.2 million, an increase of 13%. Turkey has a rich Islamic history and is popular across the world for its Ottoman architecture and mosques. 98% of the population identifies as Muslim, and this percentage is expected to be retained over the next 3 decades. Turkey is the most powerful country in the Middle East today. On 19, we have Malaysia. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 32.7 million. Estimated increase in population 10.65 million, increase of 48%. Malaysia is a country that is known for its religious coexistence, with Muslims, Buddhists, and Hindus living together in harmony. Islam is the most practiced and fastest growing religion in the country, with more than 66% of Malaysians identifying as Muslims. By 2050, this figure is projected to rise to 72.4%, while the share of Buddhists is forecasted to drop from 15.7% to 10.8%, whereas the Hindu population will see a slight dip to 5% in 2050 from 5.8% in 2020. 18. Saudi Arabia. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 42.5 million. Estimated increase in population 11.8 million, increase of 38%. Saudi Arabia is home to the holiest places in Islam at Mecca and Medina. The country is the largest producer of oil in the Middle East and is one of the most powerful countries in the region. A vast majority of the country is Muslim, with about 90% belonging to the Sunni sect. 17. Senegal. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 27.6 million. Estimated increase in population 12.1 million, increase of 78%. Muslims make up 96.6% of Senegal's population. By 2050, this figure will rise to 97.5% due to a 78% projected increase in the group's population over the next 3 decades. 16. Somalia. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 26.1 million. Estimated increase 14 million, increase of 116%. Somalia has one of the highest birth rates in the world, with an average of 6.42 births per woman. It is a predominantly Muslim country with 99% of the country practicing Islam as their religion. Their population is likely to more than double by 2050.
Number 15. Burkina Faso. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 32.20 million. Estimated increase 17.9 million, increase of 126%. Muslim population in Burkina Faso is likely to grow exponentially by 2050. Muslims currently make up about 63% of the overall population in the African country, while Christians make up a sizable minority and comprise 21.7% of Burkina Faso's inhabitants. More than 15% of the population in the country are adherents of folk religions.
14. Mali Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 39.83 million. Estimated increase 20.22 million, 103% increase. Mali is a Muslim-majority country in West Africa, where Muslims account for 95% of the overall population. Their size is projected to grow by more than 100% over the next 3 decades. But despite that, the share of Muslims in Mali will drop to 93.5% in 2050. The Christian population will remain at 2.4% like it is now. However, folk religions will see an increase from 2.5% in 2020 to 3.7% in 2050. On 13, Ethiopia. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 58 million. Estimated increase 21.7 million percentage increase, 59.7%. Ethiopia is a religiously diverse country in Africa. 62% of the country's population is Christian, whereas 36% identify as Muslim. Over the next 3 decades, the number of Muslims is likely to increase by over 21.5 million, after which the share of Muslim population in Ethiopia is likely to increase 4 percentage points to touch 40%. The Christian population is expected to drop to 58%. Number 12, Tanzania. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 43.3 million. Estimated increase 22.3 million. Percentage increase 106%. Tanzania is one of the countries where Muslim population will increase the most by 2050, both in terms of number and percentage of growth. 11. Sudan. Muslim population in 2050, 64.72 million. Estimated increase 26.3 million, 68% increase. Sudan is home to nearly 40 million Muslims, who make up about 97% of the country's overall population. The size of the Muslim community is projected to grow by more than 2/3 by 2050. On 10, Indonesia. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 256.8 million. Estimated increase in population 27.2 million, 12% increase. Indonesia is the most populous Muslim majority country in the world, with about 229 million Muslims currently who make up 87.2% of the country's population. Indonesia is an economic powerhouse, and by 2050, it is projected to be among the 5 largest economies in the world. Much of that growth will be driven by a steady rise in its population, which already is a massive, lucrative market for investors to invest in. 9. Yemen. Muslim population in 2050, 61.05 million. Estimated increase 29 million, increase of 90%. More than 99% of Yemen's population is Muslim. This share is likely to hold over the coming decades as well, with the Muslim population set to expand 90% by 2050. The country borders Saudi Arabia and has been ravaged by war since 2014. Number 8, Egypt. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 119.5 million. Estimated increase 29.1 million, 32% increase. Egypt is one of the most powerful countries in the Middle East and North Africa region and is known for its rich tradition and history. 95% of Egypt's population is Muslim, while 4% are Christians. By 2050, the Christian population is likely to drop by 1 percentage point, and the share of Muslims is likely to increase by the same level. On 7, we have Bangladesh. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 182.36 million. Estimated increase 29.35 million. Total increase 19%. Bangladesh has the fourth highest Muslim population in the world. It is also home to a sizable Hindu minority that makes up 8.2% of the country's overall population. The government of Dhaka has taken steps to control birth rates over the last few decades, and therefore the population growth rate has slowed. Despite that, it is among countries where Muslim population will increase the most by 2050. 6. Afghanistan. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 72.2 million. Estimated increase 31.6 million, increase of 78%. Islam is the state religion in Afghanistan, where 99.6% of the population is Muslim. The country has had a theocratic government since 2021 after the collapse of Ashraf Ghani's government. 5. Niger. Muslim population in 2050, 53.66 million. Estimated increase 32 million, 148% increase. Niger has 21 million Muslims, which accounts for more than 98% of the country's overall population. The size of the Muslim community is forecasted to expand exponentially over the next 3 decades. 4. Iraq. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 80.2 million. Estimated increase in population 38.8 million, increase of 94%. Iraq's Muslim population is projected to nearly double between 2020 and 2050 due to high birth rates in the country of 3.5 births per woman. 99% of the country's population is Muslim, of which 3/5 belong to the Shia sect of Islam. Number 3. Pakistan. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 273.1 million. Estimated increase 72.6 million, 36% increase. 96.5% of Pakistan's population is Muslim. It is among the most powerful Islamic countries in the world due to its large population, strong military and economic potential that stems from its huge market size. Hindus make up 1.9%, while Christians 1.6% of the country's population. Number 2, India. Muslim population in 2050, 310.7 million. Estimated increase 97.3 million. Total increase 46%. India's Muslim population will grow by over 97 million by 2050, because of which it will bypass Indonesia to have the largest Muslim population anywhere in the world. Muslims today make up 15.4% of the population. By 2050, this figure will rise to 18.4%, despite Modi's attempt to reduce Muslim population. Number 1, Nigeria. Muslim population in 2050 expected to be 230.7 million. Estimated increase in population 126 million. 120% increase. Nigeria has the 5th highest Muslim population in the world, as of now, with over 100 million of its citizens identifying as Muslim. Among all countries in the world, the Muslim population will have the highest increase in Nigeria by 2050.
Please like, comment, and share the video. It will help the algorithm to reach more people. Consider this as an act of sadaqah. Until next time, stay vigilant.